So the people that come in my chat be like, oh no, the Zeals just like, did Zeals really drop Punisher? Is he going Predator? Or vice versa, guys? Don't have to worry, man. One's not dead versus the other. Dude, how many questions did I get? Like a couple hundred times, like people asking if I switched or if I dumped or dropped Punisher. I just wanted to try both before I gave my conclusion. My conclusion is, as I said, they're both very good. I missed the Yeoman timing there. Judgment conviction good. Nice taunt. I'm ready. Ah, sh! I have no skills up. That was bad timing. Why did I try Predator? Well, Punisher got nerfed. Post-nerf, the DPS meters are out, and she still has highest 8-second, 10-second burst in the entire game. Still, Punisher Z, Bloodlust, got decreased by 12.5%, plus specialization 0.1. That 0.1 sounds small, but it's not. It is, for my Slayer at perfect spec, 1848, it's about 6% additional nerf, so it was about 18 to 19% nerf on my Z skill. And I have the DPS breakdown per skill pie charted. And in a perfect Trixian scenario, Z makes up 35% of my damage, but this game doesn't work like Trixian at all. Especially in the end game in Voldyke Gate 2, Z is more than almost 70% of my damage. There's a mechanic where you get cooldown reduction, so you can spam Z every 5 seconds. And since Z is the highest priority and it gives me super armor, I'm gonna spam Z if it's up every 5 seconds. It takes like 2 to 3 seconds to get it off, and then do a guillotine or brutal impact, instant brutal, and then go back into Z. So people will be like, but it's, you know, it's over like, oh, it's only like 6% nerf. I don't know where they're getting their math, but yeah, it's more than 6%. Depending on the fight, it's a lot. And depending on your tripods and skill level, like if Z makes up a huge chunk of your damage, then the bigger the nerf is. And if you're playing 1 cycle because you couldn't go 1.5 cycle, then it's even a bigger nerf. Anyways, I read every single forum thread. Every single Slayer forum thread. They're talking about Predator versus Punisher. Have you tried Predator? Have you tried this? How is this now? How is that? You know, many people posting their testimony. Many people asking, is Predator the way now? And people are like, yes, 100%. How do I trust that kind of post when they haven't tried it? So I tried it. Tried it at max eye level with cracked. I would say it's cracked. We cut a new bracelet. That is pretty cracked. Cycle, ambush, max roll. And I could roll it one more time, but this bracelet is, out of all the Predator Slayers, I haven't seen anybody more cracked. But anyways, Saturday stream, I ended the stream, and then I stayed up extra 12 hours after stream to snipe people doing Garigadis. I ran into a lot of people, Esther 8, Striker, Esther 8, Gunslinger, Soulfist. So I was off stream battling people. I did that for 12 hours straight. And I have not lost once as Predator. I also tried Punisher as well, but the swing is pretty heavy. You could win by a huge margin, or you could lose as well. Like Predator, probably better if you don't have a Gunlancer synergy to lock down the boss. You know, off stream I did this and I still haven't lost. So TLDR, Predator is fine. For Guardian, especially Garigadis, where there are no phase transitions, highly prefer Predator. Very fun subjective, but damage is like constant. Consistent bruisers at the word chat. I mean, it felt like a good Tesla. As long as there are no speed bumps, it felt good. But then, you know those Guardians with pheromone phases? Then it kind of disrupts you because you want to be like an enraged bull. You want to use your skills, so you're always in the burst mode until you can't hold anymore and you have to coom, right? You can't last long if the boss keeps phasing, dude. That is the turnoff of Predator. So there are Legion raids where that happens, and there are Abyss dungeons like the future Kyangale Gate 4. The Kyangale Gate 4 is notorious for having to... There's too many cutscenes, especially if it's a farm content. If it's progression, you'll be fine. For NAU, you should be fine. I did a con and it was okay. It's maybe maximum 7 seconds where I wasn't in the burst mode. That's not a big deal. Punisher is just god tier for a con. It is what it is. There are burst phases where DPC matters, damage per cycle, which is what I'm talking about in the Punisher guide, where you have all your skills up, and if you hit those buttons, you're gonna do tremendous amount of damage. Predator will not be able to do that. You will still do like big numbers, but it's not Punisher numbers. But I guess it's gonna be playstyle difference, and there is a little bit of thinking behind. A couple things I didn't like was starting Guardian with no gauge. Like Legion raids, there's a little bit trash. There's trash before, so you could get gauge, and you could start to fight. And when the bard gives you a buff, then you go ham with it. Basically, the synergy syncs up with your burst, which is what you want as a damage dealer. You never want to be off sync. I don't regret it. I don't regret cutting level 10 gems and getting these engravings. Come on, baby. Going in 3, 2, 1. What? Ah. Wait, I don't see it. Oh, dude, I'm getting like nausea. Let's go. Come on. Give it to me early. 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 It's gonna go through. Let me get some. Let me get a hey, leftover. No. I coomed. I gotta change my pants. This is like pretty much best in slot engravings. I have 92% crit rate right now, so and I don't run with crit rate in my group. If there's a support with weakness exposure bracelet, that's another 2 to 2.5%. Sometimes I eat the crit ball, sometimes I don't. Strength ball, I eat those. There's no crit stress. That's a pro, no crit stress. The only stress you're gonna have is judgment conviction and having the burst mode up for a burst. Yeah, that's about it. Perfect case scenario would be to proc it every 45 seconds for the cooldown reduction. While you have the buff, you want to spam like brutal impact, volcanic eruption, guillotine, fatal sword, as well as final blow and whatever, furious claw. But also, if you cannot micromanage that because there are mechanics knocking you backwards or it's too big brain for you, you still want to proc it every 45 for the mana recovery. And you don't have to like use Awakening in the Judgment Conviction. I mean, that's like really min-maxing. And speaking of Awakening, your Awakening damage is like wet noodles, pretty much. Like Brutal Impact has the highest priority. And Furious Claw is not a laughing matter. It makes a big part of the pie, as well as Volcanic Eruption, Guillotine, and Final Blow. And then now there's a difference between Fatal Sword and Mountain Cleave. Mountain Cleave is more DPS, it's less cooldown, it is higher DPS, but is less DPC. And because every content in Lost Ark in Korea is farm content, well, same as any EU, I guess. Pearl Shaza is farm now, for those that are farming it. I am in a meta where it's all about DPC, so this one has a little bit higher DPC, little bit higher. And I like to use it to move forward. So the first tick has a little bit decent range, and then the second tank moves me forward. So like if the boss moves a little bit forward because of aggro, I like to use this to gap close. She has great stagger. I've noticed that when I was doing all the DPS battles for 12 hours, I was getting double assists, like highest damage and stagger. But in actual 8-man raid with like a utility stagger Gunlancer, blue Gunlancer, I cannot beat him. Mobility, good. I do miss the super armor from having the Z and Punisher. Bloodlust, I do miss that. You could do some really good plays with that. So I could eat a mechanic while DPSing and then queue up another skill. So I do miss that. But once again, that's just overkill. Predator has the tools to do its job, and it is still considered high tier DPSer. Just that its role is not burst, Omega burst. What else do I want to say? Gear was quite cheap, I would say. Swiftness gear was quite cheap. Crit swiftness. Gems, 6 damage gems. Rest coolie, 5 coolies. Another thing I like is no cursed doll, I guess. So the potions were fat, but my potion consumption rate was still the same. It's not like I used less potions playing Predator versus Punisher. There's no real difference between Predator and Punisher in terms of engravings. It's just mass increase or curse stall. Movement speed wise, we're both capped in burst mode. Also, I like how you can change some of the tripods. Go from charging to instant hit. Charging is highly favored for a Kangei 3, but then everything else you should use instant attack. You could carry double counter. You could bring a punishing draw instead of wild rush. You could do double counter if you're a counter god, but I don't do that. I don't counter. I just go to boss, ass, and DPS. Mana intensive, I use mana food. If the support doesn't use mana skill, they don't have to use it off cooldown, but if they don't use it for the time being, then I do run out of mana, even with mana food at level 60 with Judgment Conviction. Oh, my DPS and Trixian, I cannot give you the number because I don't want to get Predator nerfed. I know I have like KR viewers watching. They sniped my accessory once. We're talking about like straight roll, right? We're talking about 0 to 60 in a racetrack, right? Just straight lane. This is not going to apply to rates, but DPS is good. It's really good. Close to Punisher, but I could not be Punisher in Trixian. It got close, but not close enough. And versus my max eye level War Dancer with cracked out settings, Force Bender Hallucination, DPS was... Oh, it was really similar. However, DPC, damage per cycle, is obviously lower than a spec class like the Force Bender Hallucination. Great consistent pressure. I love that. Like in Guardian, I'm just like constantly harassing the boss, just whacking every second. That is fun, dude. That is what it does. Nice, that was back.
Holy shit, this going on. Sir, marry me. Have my children.
Oh, okay. Astral weapons up. I'm gonna use it. Oh, I just lost thing. Whatever, it's fine. It'll be up. Holy! That's the Weimel I'm talking about. 600 mil. Now, I'm gonna try her in Hell mode. Hell Cuckoo. LOL. I'm sure it should be okay. What? Oh, I pressed the wrong one. Oops. Oh! Oh!
이제 나브 쓰지 말고 나중에 공놀이 할 때 왜 쓰시면 돼요?
Right.
Right, far right.
And then yours?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't really have anything bad to say about Predator. The only downside for me, when after playing Punisher is I do miss stacking cooldowns. It lines up better with support synergies, I guess what I'm trying to say. Punisher, I feel like I can coordinate way better with a decent support. It's every other cycle that they're gonna have their DPS buff up. But then Predator is like, I can't wait for you. I gotta go. You know what I mean? Like, it's a sustain class. It's a sustain class. I can't really like proc Judgment Conviction then like wait. So I missed that. You don't need that though, right? You're a sustain class. Even if you get the Bard buff and Atrophin, it's not like you're gonna do Omega damage. It just, you're sustained. You just go, shoot it and forget it. But that's what you're supposed to do as Punisher. You're supposed to suck everything and then just do monster hit. I guess to wrap up everything, Slayer's not a class where one spec is really outstanding and the other isn't. It's a class where you don't have to worry about, am I gonna get gatekept because I'm playing Predator or Punisher, blah blah blah. No, they're both very competitive. They're in a very good spot. I don't want to say anything else because I don't want to get you guys nerfed or whatever, but they're very good right now is what I want. Okay, that's it, man. That's all I'm gonna say about that, dude.